Stephen Akintayo is, just raise up your hand, let me just get an idea. If you don't know who he is, so I can get security to escort you out. You over there. I also want to thank the gentlemen of the press and the ladies, if we can use that word as well, who were here earlier on for the press conference, already going online. I think I've seen it on Goldmine TV as well. So thank you for that. City people will see you. And of course, we will capture this event as well. So this evening is about the book launch. It's a dinner, but we're specifically going to be taking a look at real estate through the eyes of Akintayo. Anything and everything about you. If you want it to last beyond your time, through generations, you put it in a what? Put it in a what? In this case, it's in a book. They now put it online. The adage is always been that if you want to hide anything from a black man, you put it inside a what? Someone said pictures, but that one can work nowadays. But we have two very interesting books here, the ABC of America's Real Estate Investment and the Global Real Estate Investment Handbook. Those two, yes, you can clap, thank you very much. I'm giving you 50 copies of the book. So as you can see on this side of the hall, we have the books in this wonderful Christmas package. And the proceeds of this book, when that time comes, is going to something phenomenal. That's the profits from the proceeds of this book. It's going to a food bank both in America and here in Nigeria. And I think that deserves a round of applause. Texas, to be specific, am I correct? It's not limited to Texas, but we're going to start off with Texas and of course back here in Nigeria. There's something I read and it has been part of me. Everything you have, whether it's gifts, some of you have the gift of singing, some of you have the gift of networking, some of you have the gift of marketing. Whatever gift you have, once you're 6 feet under, you cannot take it with you. True or true? Does anybody disagree? Now, the beauty of existing and living is that while you're alive, you channel those gifts to someone, to something, to a cause. And that's one of the reasons I love Dr. Stephen Akintayo, not just his foundation, not just his lovely wife, but the entire team. The gift they have been given, they have used it to channel to other people to change lives one day at a time, and he has been consistent with that. And I think that also deserves a round of applause. So the reason I'm moving around is I want to get into your faces. So that when I ask you to buy 1 or 2 packs of books, you won't be squeezing. Hello, sir. How are you doing, sir? It's not by looking at the phone. I'm still coming to you. Are you a mentee? Okay, you will soon be my mentor, don't worry. So take your phone, scan this barcode for those who can. Just get your phone to the camera, scan this on that side and that side, and it will give you a rundown of what we're doing this evening. But first things first, it's been very nice to reintroduce Dr. Stephen Akintayo to us all here this evening. And for those of us who are online, is this online? This is online? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Good evening for those of you online. Great to have you with us. If you're here and you can see us, just give us a thumbs up and tell us what you had for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, wherever you are in the world. All right, I'll come back to the messages and see who is there with us online. So please turn your attention to the multimedia screen as we get reintroduced to Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Multimedia, are you ready? Okay, while we wait for them to get ready, once again, this is streaming live. We have people who are plugged in from all over the world, especially in the US as well, and Dubai, and all the areas where Dr. Stephen has business interest. Are we ready? Okay, just give me a thumbs up when you are ready. Okay, good.
Influential investment coach. He is a member of the Forbes Business Council and a recipient of several prestigious awards, including the Forbes Best of Africa, Leading Investment Coach and Real Estate Mogul by Forbes Best of Africa Award. He is the chairman of GTEX Holdings and the founder of Stephen Akintayo Foundation. GTEX Holdings is the mother company of 11 subsidiaries with a highly innovative and young workforce. These subsidiaries include GTEX Homes, GTEX Land, Stephen Akintayo Foundation, G-Vest, G-Tex Farms, G-Tex and Associates, G-Tex Academy, G-Tex Soft, G-Tex Hub. G-Tex Holdings has several branches in Nigeria, which include Lagos State, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Asaba, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Other offices are in Dubai, the UK, and the US, and the company plans to extend operations to other African countries like Ghana, Rwanda, and Uganda. Dr. Akintayo Real Estate Firm has a plan to build 25,000 green and smart homes with golf courses, polo clubs, mall, hotel, hospitals, schools, and universities across Africa by the year 2035, and control another set of 25,000 properties outside of Africa with a total real estate asset worth $40 billion by the year 2035. Dr. Stephen Akintayo is also the host of the Global Property Brokers Conference, the largest brokers conference in Africa, now renamed the Global Wealth Festival. Several renowned speakers like Grant Cardone, Ryan Serhant, Dr. John Maxwell, and others have been brought on the platform. Dr. Akintayo has hosted some of the world's most renowned speakers on his platforms like Robert Kiyosaki, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Dan Locke, Toby and Tomi Arayomi, Toby Adegboyega, and several others. He is the host of the Investment Chat in a Rolls-Royce, which teaches people about different investment opportunities around the globe. Learning Luxury Show, a show that educates on the benefits of owning luxury and monetizing it, and Big Talk Show, aimed at enlightening youths and the general public on election-related issues in order to build the new Nigeria. He is also the host of the Billionaire Habits podcast, Burj Khalifa series in Dubai. You can watch them on the Billionaire Habits podcast. Dr. Stephen is also the author of 42 books. His latest are The Billionaire Habits for Pastors, Billionaire Habits for Entrepreneurs, and Becoming a Billionaire Land Banker. All his books can be found in Dr. Stephen's books. To book him for speaking engagements, email egstephenakintayo.com and contact the number on your screen for more inquiries.
I'm sure we can do much better than that. So in my profession, the friend or a friend make AI not take our, because that was AI voice. Dr. Stephen, I have my voice, I am not using it. But I want to also take this time to appreciate a woman whose AI profile is not on the screen, but is the wind beneath Dr. Stephen Akintayo's wings. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, the one and only Akintayo. Stand up for recognition. 12th-year anniversary. Please, look on the strength of the marriage. Clap louder, clap louder. She's shy. I like teasing and embarrassing her like this, because if you know the beginning, then you appreciate the journey so far. And everything that is coming their way is well deserved. And it's a testament to consistency, to love, all right, to support. And for those of us that are single in the house, not yet married, may you find who you need, not who you want. Amen? It's a strong prayer point, though. Listen to my prayer point. May you find who you need, not who you want. Raise up your hand. Let's turn this to a quick prayer meeting. All of us, I can see. You're impressed. You're impressed on that table. You can't be thinking a significant order. Stick to press. Why not? But on a serious note, for those of you who have followed their journey and their story, Dr. Stephen Akintayo would not be even Mr. Stephen Akintayo without his loved wife. So thank you very much. This is actually our event. It's not for Dr. Stephen, it's our own event. All right, with that distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for those of you online as well, thank you very much for being part of this. The next item on our very brief agenda is to get a speech from the author, basically to give you an overview as to why we are here, what led to him writing this book, what has real estate got to do with anything. Do you have to be in real estate to understand real estate? What are the benefits of real estate, not just in Nigeria, but also outside the country? We live in an economy where you are a citizen of Nigeria, but you are a global citizen, which means that you can operate in any time zone in the world from anywhere in the world. We are not restricted by geographical boundaries anymore. And real estate is one thing that Dr. Stephen Akintayo is very good at, well known for, and is here to share that knowledge with you. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for the one and only Dr. Stephen Akintayo.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you all. Please have your seat. Thank you for the honor. So we have two books that were dedicated today.
Where can we just?
Two books, and each box has three copies each, so that's 6 in each box. But basically, let me start with the first one, which is the Global Real Estate Investment Handbook. I noticed, particularly when we started expanding to outside Nigeria, right, UK, Dubai, and now US, a lot of people started asking, wait, I really need to understand what does it take to just wake up and then go to another country and say you want to do real estate, right? People, began to ask a lot of questions. And as much as if we were to do seminars, I'm having to charge as much as $2,000 for seminars because we are having to take days for them. The earliest is like 2 days. So I said to myself, why not make it easy by having a book? I believe this is probably going to be arguably the only book in the world, right, that covers 4 continents as regards real estate. That's what you're going to talk about. Okay? And for me, I'm super proud of what we've been able to do with that, how we've been able to make it extremely detailed, giving background and some context. What we've also done with the book is to also give a few highlights. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I saw projects in Dubai in this. I only saw the US, but Mr. Bayer, am I correct or I missed it?
The US is there. We have case studies. We have case studies for the 4 continents there. We have US mostly in that.
No, I'm talking about the global real estate investment.
Yeah.
I really see our projects. One of the things we talked about was to add pictures of our projects.
That's in the ABC. That's in the ABC.
No, ABC is the one for America.
Yeah.
Right? While global real estate investment is the one that covers 4 continents. So that's the one that needs to have what we too are doing in each continent. But just check it.
Okay.
And be sure it's there.
Okay.
I'm just saying for this.
All right.
But one of the things I know I work with my team on was we wanted to also put pictures of what we are doing in each of these 4 continents as it regards real estate. If you have been following my brand, one of the things you will notice is that I'm big on practicing what I preach. I don't know if you notice that. So I'm not your usual motivational speaker when we're just inspiring, my books are about things I'm doing. They are about sharing light on my secrets in business and how I'm doing. So I realized there were a lot of requests. People were asking, how do I start a real estate business, particularly internationally? I was shocked to know that some Nigerians think that if they are not US residents or US citizens, they cannot buy property in US. So Nigerians still think that you can never own real estate for life in Dubai. That if you are buying real estate in Dubai, it's not yours for life. And all these things have since changed. So the book is able to really give insights, unique markets, what's different, comparison between Europe market compared to Asia market or Middle East market, Middle East market compared to US market, US market compared to what? African market, where we have a money. Right. So we're able to give that context around the issues around it. I must apologize that typically I don't do local prints, right? So typically I buy directly from Amazon because that's foreign print and the quality sometimes is a lot better than when you print it locally. But because of the timeline for this book launch, you have to print locally. And so you permit me that, may not be as compared to foreign print. I mean, these are realities. I'm just doing the disclosure. Okay. The second book is called The ABCs of America's Real Estate Investment. So in this second book, we then focus primarily on the U.S. market. How many of you are aware of our $200 million U.S. expansion? Can I see your hands up if you are aware of it? Okay, some of us are not aware. So we've been heavily pushing our U.S. projects right now, and we have a 99-acre where we are doing more mixed use, and then we start construction for that should be completed by the year 2030. We have another one in Tidwell. We're starting construction in the second quarter of 2025. We have another in Richmond, 89,000 units. So we have the various projects we've been pushing in the U.S. and we thank God for grace, for speed, and for fundraising as well, because of the 200 million, we're able to get institutional investors who are giving us, we'll be glad to know, $140 million already. So the only part we're having to raise is the $60 million, and God is helping us with that. So I then got a lot of people saying, how do you do that? Even some of my friends who have been in the US doing real estate for 20 years, they've never even dared a singular project of $5 million, talk less of $200 million. Right? So I started getting some genuine care and genuinely wanted to learn. Some, of course, were jealousies as well. One even sent me a message and said, me and you will attend the same church. We are doing the same business. I'm even older than you. And the way you are moving, what am I doing wrong? I mean, I didn't even know how to answer them. I didn't know how to answer it. So I left, you know what, there's no point for, whether your question is genuinely because you want to learn or out of whatever, we all can fly. I'm not going to agree with you. There's only traffic on the floor. Who knows that? There's no traffic in the air. All of us can do our multi-billion-dollar project, and none of us is affecting each other. I'm not going to agree with you. So I said, put it in a what? Put it in a book. That way everybody knows it. Everybody knows how to go about their own as well. And they can build their own business empire as well. I promise you it's one of those good books. And I want to please help me celebrate Mr. Barry, Mary, our team from the Akintayo Foundation. They work tirelessly. And if you have ever worked with me, you know that it's not easy working with me. So, good job they had to do. We will also be adding one more book actually to this tree, which will be focused on realtors, right? Just teaching people who want to sell real estate, how do you sell, and to help those who are realtors. Now, good news. Good news, I thought you would clap. We are putting all the profit from these two books are going to a new food bank we are launching in Houston, Texas, and in Lagos, Nigeria. Are you happy to know that? The goal of the food bank is to feed 1 billion people in the next 50 years. Are you glad to know that? And so technically, we're not selling this book. We're just asking people to donate in exchange to then get some copies. I hope this is understandable. So, for example, each pack has 6 in there.
In America and Nigeria,
millions of families face the daily struggle of hunger. But together, we can make a difference.
$. Okay.
$1. Okay, thank you. Right, so thank you. This is better. So each box is 100,000 naira, but you can just say I'll pay $1 million for it, or I'll pay 5 million because it's a donation towards a food bank. I hope this makes sense at all. And for me, that's one thing that's laid in my heart to do in the next 13 months. We want to have a food bank in Lagos and a food bank in Houston, Texas, where people can come and get food.
In America and Nigeria, millions of families face the daily struggle.
Right, some of us here don't have that problem, but you need to know people.
In America and Nigeria, millions of families face the daily struggle of hunger. But together, we can make a difference. From bustling cities to rural communities, our food banks are bridging the gap, delivering fresh meals, pantry staples, and hope to those who need it most. Whether it's a mother in Lagos or a father in Chicago, hunger knows no borders. At Stephen Akintayo Foundation, we provide hope, one meal at a time.
So his whole creativity was to get a Ghana must go dress up in suit with a laptop to start selling vegetable. He had a friend who had a vegetable farm. I had to go to that one and say, okay, give me vegetable. I'll go to all these restaurants were in Ota then. So all these big companies in Ota, they have big restaurants. So he would stack the vegetable in Ghana must go, right? And then in Suto, and then approach them. In fact, many of them said to him, we've never seen anybody sell vegetable to us, right, in a Ghana must go before, and then dress in suits, and a graduate. And most people who sell vegetable are old women tying wrapper. And so they said, we already have suppliers, but we'll give you 1 day of the week to be supplied because of just the way you look. Now, in my own case, I was selling bulk SMS. So I would trek 20 schools per day because again, I didn't have money for bike. And so you need to see some of those pictures. They are really, when I look at myself then to now, I now realize why my father-in-law refused to give his daughter to me. Because I wouldn't give me to you, to me, right, looking at those pictures. And then I would go telling them we sell bulk SMS, you need to buy SMS. I'm sure those who patronized me then just pitied me.
Yes, I've been told that.
Right? They just pitied me because I really needed it. And if I didn't sell, we're not going to have food to eat.
Do you have this?
It was that bad. So for me at this point, it's time to start paying forward. Do we agree? And yeah, you know, it's time to start paying forward. And part of it for me is to say all profit from this book, we just set up a food bank and make sure nobody has the kind of experience we had. And we're graduates. You would say such shouldn't even happen to people like us, but it still happened. And that's why for me, the food bank is not just for what you say is for the poorest. Sometimes people just find themselves in a situation where there is no food, right? And they need something. And we're going to be one of the most dignifying food bank you will ever see in Africa. I promise you that. Right? Where it will be dignifying. Right? Because I'm with dignity. How many of you agree with me? Right? You don't need people to strip their dignity just because you want to help them. Those are some of the things. Those are some of the things we want to talk about. Finally, I need you to know that all of us need real estate. This hotel is real estate. Your church is real estate. Your restaurant is real estate. The house you live in is real estate. The office you work in is real estate. Every economic activity rides and stands on real estate. And your ability to understand what real estate holds and offers, how real estate works, is the only way you will build lasting wealth. Companies that today are doing well and do not invest in real estate, years later eventually regret. Because the only real asset, that's why they call it real estate, is real estate. That's the only real asset. So don't tell me, oh, me, I'm not into real estate. Everybody has to invest in real estate. Everybody. And I'm not talking about real estate in terms of the house you live in, but real estate as a source of cash flow, as a source of passive income. Now, if you are tired of doing it in Nigeria, because your tenants will owe you, you can do it in America, right? And you earn returns in dollars. Now, even if you are doing Nigeria, the reason people are owing you is the location you are doing it. I remember when people started coming for my real estate class, oh, now I get why I didn't do well. I bought land in Abule Egba, and then I built my house. Now I'm learning from you that I should have done it in an estate, right? Where the caliber of people who rent houses there are what? People who can afford to pay my rent. I'm not making sense at all. And the way those estates are even managed, you won't even see your landlord. It's the lawyer you are seeing. Who knows what I'm talking about? So there's no, somebody is coming to beg you, Oga landlord, sorry, I can't pay your rent, right? So there are structures that can help you to still do real estate in a way that will be profitable for you. And you look back years to come, your real estate investment is feeding you. And like the Bible says, a good man, a good woman, leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate every one of you for honoring me. I mean, this Christmas season, all of you have plenty parties to have gone to. Thank you for coming. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Once again, a round of applause to Dr. Stephen Akintayo. This is our own version of Dirty December. In this Dirty December, you get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to grow your wealth and also to multiply. There's a movie, it's called The Founder. It was made in 2017, Michael Keaton. It talks about, and that was not my first introduction, but that was the reality. We all know McDonald's, right? How many of you have heard of McDonald's or know of McDonald's or have eaten McDonald's? Just raise up your hand. You've heard of it, you know of it, you've eaten it. Now, if you watch the movie, The Founder, Google it up, you can check it out. It talks about how McDonald's came about. And yes, to us it's burgers and chips, but the actual strength and wealth of McDonald's was in the real estate, because they owned every piece of land that they were on, and the rest, they say, is history. So even if you don't know about real estate, you are living somewhere. And where you are living, it's either owned by someone, or you're paying for rent to someone, or you own it. It's one of the two. It's either you're a tenant or you're a landlord. Which one would you rather be? And when you talk about transgenerational wealth, you talk about sleeping income, you talk about all these sources of revenue. It's said that every person should have at least 7 streams of income. I don't know anybody in the top 100 millionaires or billionaires in the world who is there because of salary. If you find one, let me know. It's either tech or real estate or providing a service of some sort or solving a problem. And it's engagements like this, forums like this, gatherings like this that we get to understand what we need to do so that we do not tell stories upon stories. And it's just about knowledge, the knowledge that you have and how you apply it. And that's why for Dr. Stephen Akintayo is a living testimony, a manifestation of a man who moved from not eating for 2 days after losing a mom to having thought of a food bank and now bringing it into reality, not just in one continent, but in 2. And it's just getting started. So I think that deserves a wonderful round of applause. Now, whether or not you like it, his trajectory is set. There's some things that he cannot go back to. There's some stories that you will never hear again. There's some points where you've moved past, like you are probably all at least above 20 years. No matter how life is, you can never be 5 years again. Am I correct? Am I correct? Please, I need you to engage me. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Can never be. Well, in this world of AI, we don't know how and technology, but in the real sense of biology, you can never be. Same thing with some of this knowledge, some of these instances, some of these revenues that we need to look into. And that's one of the major reasons we're here today. It only takes one person to change the destiny of their family, of their generation. One person. That's all it takes, one person. Not 2, 1. You look at Steve Jobs. Name some, let me just go around quickly. Name somebody rich that you know doing so. You can put your name, but you show me your bank account statement after. Just name one very wealthy person you know.
Warren Buffett.
Okay, Warren Buffett, still living in the same house, driving the same car. That one is even another type of wealth that I'm trying to understand. What about you, sir?
$10.
Okay, you have his number?
I will soon.
I like that. Please, a round of applause, please. A round of applause. What's your name? Abel. You know what I'm about to say, right? I'll text you.
You did not.
We'll come to that story later. So I'll text you later. I'll tell you that's number. Okay? He's my mechanic. He actually helps me with my organizing. All right. Let me see. Anyone else? Any rich person that you know?
Cracker done.
Cracker.
Grant her done.
Is that like Cracker? Cracker done? He was a guest at one of the series by Steve. That was the first time of meeting, or you know about him before then?
I know about him before now.
What's your name?
Vivian.
Vivian. Don't relax now, Vivian. Relaxing, be relaxing. Okay, so he's a serial investor as well. For those of you who are just joining us, thank you very much for being here. Name any wealthy person that you know.
Stephen Akintayo.
Do you think you will get freelance because you call his name? You think you just make his head swell and then you say, what's your name?
Michael.
I say, Michael, for calling my name, take 2 plots in America. But that's a good one, I like that. That is very true. But anyone else that you know locally or internationally?
Aliko Dangote.
Okay, so Aliko Dangote. So as I mentioned his names, try to understand what it is that they do. And more often than not, you find out they don't have one stream. They have maybe 8, 20, 30 streams of income. We're trying to get this hall filled up. We're also expecting some very important dignitaries. What about you, sir? Any wealthy, rich person that you know?
Bill Gates.
Okay, you have his number too.
Yeah, he spoke with me some minutes back.
Open your phone, bros. Your battery is flat. Please don't ask power bank. We will charge it today. So what do you think is about Bill Gates that makes him stand out? Microsoft. No, say it with full chest now. The way you said your battery is dead, say it with the same full chest.
Microsoft.
Okay, so Microsoft, yes, but at the end of that journey is that he's solving a problem. You need to be solving a problem. And trust me, when you look at Nigeria, you look at Africa, you'll all agree with me that there are many, many problems to be solved. Yes or yes? Am I correct? Please understand that this evening is a very special evening. Of all the places you could be tonight, you are here. Of all the wisdom, knowledge, understanding you could get, you will get it here. And the food bank is just one manifestation of what Dr. Stephen Akintayo and the foundation are doing. And the reason is very simple. You just never know whose life you could touch, whose life you could change. And more importantly, remember I told you about the gift. When you're given a gift, your responsibility is to let that gift flow through you to others. A gift is useless if you don't share it, if you don't shine it, if you don't impact other people. And more importantly, it just gives your life a different meaning. It's about the quality of life you're going to live. Not the quantity, not the duration, but the quality of life. Look at your neighbor and say, live a quality life. Say it louder. Then add, live a quality rich life. So that when I call you, you pick up. And your phone battery won't die. Okay? At the back. Okay, so what we want to do very quickly is we're going to have a Q&A with Dr. Stephen Akintayo, just to get an idea of the thought process. He talked about real estate in 4 continents. He talked about the ABCs. He talked about how you can be part of a global wealth pool, all right? I can't calculate how much is in the real estate in the world, but one thing is certain, there is land. And the world is 1/3 land, 2/3 water, am I correct? If I remember my geography well. So there's more water than land, which means that the land is very, Very precious. It's very precious. So wherever you're from, if it's back home, in the village, even if it's 1 plot, 2 plots, 3 plots, just buy it. Own it, build a fence around it, keep it. All right? It always appreciates. Imagine if you have a child today and you buy a plot or 2 or 3, and 16 years later, imagine how that will have appreciated. And you don't need to worry about school fees because that land will pay for that. All right? So you have time to think ahead. And this is the advantage of those who are not married yet. This is some of the things that you need to look into, the advantages that you have, because you don't have the responsibility of wife, feeding, accommodation, children. You don't have all of that yet. So you have the time to plan ahead. Say, plan ahead. Give the person next to you a high five and say, plan ahead. And if somebody that you like, say, plan ahead and give me your number. If it's somebody you like, oh, if you're already married, please just stay to yourself. Okay, so on that note, I would like to reintroduce Dr. Stephen Akintayo to the stage here, our little stage here. And the idea is to have the Q&A. Now, this is where, like you mentioned, some of these sessions are like $2,000 or so. He's going to give it to you here, and those of you online. For those online, if you have any questions, please feel free to type it. All right, feel free to type it so that I can read them out as well. And in addition to that, for those of us here, you'll get a chance to ask the questions as well. Some of it will be centered around the book, some of it will be centered around life generally. Okay, are you with me? Everybody in favor say aye. Aye. Everybody in favor say aye. Aye. This place is so quiet. What's going on? Oh, you want CBJ to sing? Yes. You want CBJ to sing? Yes. CBJ, sing us song about money and prosperity. Okay, I'm going to need someone to take the microphone. Can I get a shoes? Any member of staff on GTech, so that when you have a question. Okay. What's your name? Abel. Okay, don't keep this for them. Okay. All right, Abel.
That's Kane, actually.
Is it Kane or which one?
Kane,
No, you said in this case, he's the one that. These are your people that didn't go to Sunday school. Are you Google it? Google them. All right. So, first things first, we have. Are you Kane or Abel? Which one?
I'm actually Abel, but I'm the one that.
Okay.
That's not my life.
That's why you're there. It is well with you. For the duration of this event, please don't kill anyone. All right. So everyone is comfortable. Say aye. If you're comfortable, let me say aye. Aye. All right. So we want to just quickly go through a crash course. Your journey now is about what, 22 years, give or take, or is it more?
In business?
Yes, in business.
Yeah, but officially, we started business in bulk SMS, working electronics, and we didn't have company registered. But officially, company registered is 16 years now. But yeah, business over 20-something years.
That deserves a round of applause. Okay. So it's a Q&A. It's very fluid. And this is a prequel to, of course, the launch of the books, but it's also to give you insight as to what you will find in the books. Once again, each of those boxes is 100,000 naira here tonight. You can feel free to do more. And the idea is that the profits and the proceeds will go to the Mercy Food Bank, which will be in Texas and also in Nigeria, and that's just the beginning. And Dr. Stephen shared a very emotional story about when his mother passed on and him and the brother were in the house. The brother's wife was pregnant, am I correct? His other brother's wife was pregnant and they didn't eat for 2 days. All right? Some of you, if you don't eat for 2 hours, you pass out. They didn't eat for 2 days. But that led into them being innovative, and the brother had to wear a suit, sell vegetables, and they just had to keep on keeping on. Now, I'm not creating an excuse for the Nigerian economy and the environment, but there's something about Nigeria that brings out the best in you if you let it.
Yeah.
If you let it. Sometimes I'm in gatherings and they say, oh, Nigeria is back, Nigeria is this. And I always use this adage. I said, what? If you say Nigeria, pardon my French, if you say Nigeria is shit, all right, what is the best manual to grow anything? What is the best manual to grow anything? If you put a seed inside concrete block or inside shit, which one will grow faster? Which one will be nourished? So when people say things like that, and they say, oh, Nigeria is shit, it's distance, I say, that's the perfect place to plant.
Yeah.
That's the perfect place to grow. It's not an excuse for some of the things we're going through, but it's also an opportunity. And there's a reason why we're winning Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we are, in Nigeria alone, I think Nigeria is responsible, out of the unicorn businesses, I think there's, I'm not sure, maybe 5 or 6 African unicorn businesses. Nigeria is responsible for about 4 of them.
Wow.
All right, that's, a unicorn is any business that has passed the 1 billion mark. You can look at Money Points recently. The examples are there. So when they say you are a Nigerian, it's a badge of authority. It's a badge of excellence. It's proof that as bad as the bad rich, once that Nigerian blood is flowing through you, you will excel. Even if some people don't want to align with it in other countries and they say what they feel, which they have a right to, they are also saying it on a platform where they won. And part of the reasons why they won is because they are Nigerian, whether they want to agree or not. So the question is, what do you want to do with this? You've been given a passport to prosperity. Irrespective of the country you're in, what do you want to do with it? And Dr. Stephen Akintayo is one of the numerous examples of people who have been able to excel here and take it outside, and excel outside to the point that people that are older than him in the same business, in the same church, are sending SMSs asking him, no, me and you, they this business. And it's bound to happen. You know, people will doubt you, people will underrate you, people will look down on you. But if your vision is clear, it's just an added bonus that you're a Nigerian. You will excel. All right, we're built different. So if you know you're sitting next to a Nigerian, give yourself a round of applause. Is there any half-caste there? It's not too late. You can find your Nigerian wife or husband. Okay, so very quickly, let's move on. Dr. Stephen Akintayo, the Mercy Food Bank. What is the Mercy about? Why Mercy? Why the food bank? Let's start with that.
Well, so mercy, because the greatest need of every human is mercy. You can't walk through this life and not at some point need mercy, right? We all, as humans, we are flawed. We are not perfect. Even spiritually, the greatest prayer you can pray is the prayer of what? Of mercy. There are error of commission, there are error of omission. You commit one error, one way or the other. And without the mercy of God, right, you really, in reality, cannot go far. We are all here by the mercies of God. How many of you remember somebody that died this year that you felt they were more righteous than you? I mean, you know these people holy. Anybody like that? And they passed on this year, right? There are people this year who have died, who are richer. There are people who have died, who are smarter. So why are you and I alive? It's by the mercy of God. But what I also understand about mercy is that to receive it, you also need to give it, right? The concept of mercy is like a seed. You know, you get more mercy because you give more mercy. In the Bible, one of the biggest sinner of the Bible is David. True of us. Yet God said, David, a man after my own heart. And if you study the scripture, you also realize that one of those who passed mercy more was David. Right? We remember the story of, is it Rachel? There's one house, there's noise somewhere, I don't know whether it's inside this place.
It's from outside. Can we close the door, please, so that we
need
can...
to close the door. If it's outside, we can close the door, but I was getting some noise. I don't know whether it was Rachel in the Bible scholars, who had a foolish rich husband. George, you remember, no?
Rebecca?
It's Rebecca? No, it's not Rebecca. Abigail. Who had Nabal. Right, rich but foolish man. And then, of course, spoke some nonsense to David, and David said, I will finish this guy. And then Abigail, of course, the wise woman said, Papa, why kill the guy and have the blood on your hand? Right? Don't worry. And the man eventually died anyway. Foolish death. So, but my point is that if you check David's life, you see him show mercy. Even with his son Absalom. Right? You just see. So, no wonder he received it as well. So for me, I believe it's a home of mercy. It's a place where people come, and it doesn't matter what led them to be hungry. We are there to show mercy and make sure in a dignified way they are fed. And for me, that is like I shared earlier, I've also been homeless. Growing up in my primary school days, because we were so poor, we were not having lunch and food, food. People had this lunch box and all of that we didn't have. So I'm waiting for my colleagues for their beans cake, for their yam to fall to the ground. And that's what I literally would pick up and dust. And that's my lunch. Right? And so if you've gone through those experiences, in 2019 I was in an IDP camp in Maiduguri, just to go and reach out. We do a lot of food program, we work with existing food bank even now. But I just felt we needed to do more. And the vision is to feed 1 billion people in 50 years. Right? If you know me, you know I don't do small things. Yeah, if you want to clap. Right? And I look long term, and I think long term. And so for us, that's the idea. And I felt I've always been, if you read my book, Billionaire Habits, you see me teach about win-win. So I have a culture of win-win. My structure is always, if we want people to donate, then let's give them something. And for us, the opportunity, okay, people want to learn more about real estate from me. So now you have a book on that, and in exchange, you can also donate towards a cause that will change lives.
Thank you very much for that. Page 22. Now, one thing about wealth, when you do have it, there's this analogy that was given, I can't remember by who or where. It said if you give a poor man $1 million and you give a rich man $1 million, there's a strong possibility that the poor man will squander it, maybe a month or two or a year or whatever, and it's gone. The rich man, on the other hand, will take that 1 million and maybe turn it to 5 million in the same. So you begin to understand that poverty, being poor, has a lot to do with the mind and being ready to manage the wealth that comes, which takes me to the question of relationships. Page 22, chapter 2.1 talks about the power of relationships in your book. That's for the Global Real Estate Investment Handbook. This one I'm particularly interested because it covers 4 continents. So I want to start with relationships. And you mentioned something here, and I quote. You said, one crucial principle to remember is never approach a wealthy person asking for a favor. All of my mentors are significantly wealthier than I am, and I have never met them without bringing a gift, not once. It also goes on to show how you sponsor more than 10,000 children through school, not because you feel obligated to them, not because you owe them anything, but each month the foundation donates $5,000 to small business owners, and of course it goes on and on. There's a lot you do. But let's talk about the power of relationships. From a man who started with literally nothing, what can you say is direct correlation between relationships that you build and the wealth that you have? If you follow his page, he's had a lot of people on social media and his courses, from the religious sector, from the real estate sector, from the business sector, from the entertainment and lifestyle sector. He has cut across different sectors, and the relationships he met, we're just even still talking, about one of the relationships where the person showed up for him, not asking, bought the tickets, and he hasn't asked. Is it that you haven't asked anything from the person, or the person? Yeah, he's given, and the person is like, why? The person hasn't asked anything from him. So tell us that, because I think that's one of the greatest assets that you have, the power of relationships. Tell us more about that.
Thank you for that question. I think that if we look at it, wealth and relationship goes hand in hand. There's a reason why rich people have rich friends, right? It's just the honest truth. In fact, if you notice,
How many of us here have had an experience where you touch some of the biggest money in your life, only for the money to disappear and you don't even know why? Any one of us have had those experiences. And when you then, anybody please wait for your hand. I love interactive class. Have you had such experience? Right, you had like, you touched some of the biggest money, and then before you know it, everything's gone. Now, if you then try to keep track, what do you notice? My auntie said she needed money, urgently had to send. My urgent 2K, my uncle, my brother, my sibling, my bottom line, you are a one-eye man in the world of blind people, right? So it's a matter of time, everything was gone. But on the other hand, wealthy people, because everybody is wealthy, what's going on is that job is moving from me to you, you to me, and we keep getting richer and richer. I was sharing somewhere, I don't know where it was, and there was this over $200 million project here in this country. And they are a bit behind, and they need to complete this project in 11 months. And yesterday the project manager was talking. He said, look, at this point, I'm begging contractors. In other words, what is left in the project is probably $30 million. They have the money cash. It's not that they will mobilize you 10%. They can give you all the money cash. And yet, he's looking for people that he will beg to collect money to execute project for them. How many contractors lack projects in this country? Meanwhile, somebody has plenty projects and is looking for
oversubscribed.
Exactly, is looking for who to give it to. So, and that's what happened with wealth, because there's so much money moving. And that's, if you read the book, The Jewish Phenomenon, it's one of the things the Jews understand. When wealthy people move money amongst themselves, right? Poor people take even the money they have out of their circle. They take it out. So if you're going to be rich, you have to be intentional about beginning to build relationship with higher people, high net worth people. And I got to realize that it's one of my biggest deficiency because I wasn't from a rich home. So how many rich people did I know? So intentionally, I then had to start working my way up, right? By, of course, giving gifts. I still mentioned in the church, the pastor is here this morning. I had to learn how to play golf. I had to, because I knew I needed to catch up to connect with high net worth people. Else, I would go back to my village. It's true. You just realize you are back to square one. And I realized that the more I connect with high net worth people, the richer I got, right? The richer I got. Guess what? I also realized that those who are not even as rich as they are, by just seeing me with them, are now willing to do business with me. Meanwhile, when they didn't see me with those caliber of people, they are murmuring among themselves, are you sure we should do business with you? Are you sure our money is safe? So, whichever way you look at it, right, it makes sense to build high net worth relationship, powerful relationship, wealthy relationship, because that's ultimately how to grow and sustain the wealth.
So Dr. Stephen, thank you for that, please a round of applause. The theory of it is very nice. It's something that I'm sure a lot of people in this room know. The question now is how? Wealthy people are busy, they don't have time to waste time. They move in circles of wealthy people. So if you're not wealthy, and when I say the wealth, it's not necessarily your account balance, even though that's a substantial part of it. But in terms of how does confidence play in all of this? How do you enter a room and give a larger-than-life impression that earns you the respect of the wealthy people, that invites you to their circle? What do you need to do? There's fake it to make it. There's buga. So how do you find that balance when you find yourself in that room?
Beautiful question. So for me, I always argue that there's nothing to fake, right? Two P's you cannot afford to have: poverty and pride, right? It's a dangerous combination, right? If you are rich well, maybe you can choose to be proud, it's a choice. But if you are poor, you need to be humble so that wealthy people can connect and help. Oftentimes, people think that wealthy people are these snobbish people, they can't relate, and it's not true. The data shows that 90% of rich people today were poor yesterday. They did not inherit it from their parents. 90%, more than 90.
So they understand the world of the poor.
They understand. They know where you are coming from. They know the background. The often challenge is that people come with entitlement. People come with that, if you are rich, help me. Right? And it's like, I don't owe you. Right? And guess what? You have just queued in the list of hundreds of people. If you check my inbox every day, whether on IG or LinkedIn, at least I will get more than 100 requests for help. My WhatsApp too. Right? So, and it's the same thing. Every wealthy person, people are asking for help. So how do you distinguish yourself when you want to build relationship with them? Why not come with a gift? Come with a gift. And that's the way I worked my way up. I don't meet anybody without a gift.
And not just any gift. Find out what they want or what they like.
Find out what they want, they like, but be thoughtful about it. Sometimes it's not even how expensive. It's just the thought process. You know, there's a way someone say, this person really.
It's funny you should mention that. One of the greatest misconceptions is that you feel wealthy people have everything.
Yes.
I won't mention the name of the comedian. He's one of the top comedians. And I was having a discussion with the manager, just to segue on this point. And he was invited to the birthday celebration of a billionaire, top guy in the telco sector. Now, this is a gathering of who is who. The celebrant will never forget this comedian, and the reason is this. The comedian took, I'm not sure about the exact amount, but either $1,000 in cash or something along that line. I think it was $1,000. And he looked at the celebrant during the ceremony and said, I'm going to give you something that nobody in this world has given you before. You know, he built the momentum and everyone, what could it be, what could it be? And he counted the money and he gave it to him. Do you know that celebrant said that nobody has given him $1,000 before?
Jesus.
Nobody has counted $1,000 to give him. Not that they've not gifted him things worth more than $1,000, but nobody has. Another story is of a colleague of mine in the same sector. I bought him this set of socks, tie, clip, whatever, and I gave it to him. I can't remember what happened. And I gave it to him, and he said that no one has gifted him anything in a while. So you'll be shocked that a lot of people you see in the Rolls Royce and the big cars, the Rolexes and everything, they do not receive gifts. What helps if you do some research, find out what that person likes. Take the time to find out. If it's 5 people you want to impress in 2025, know that those 5 people, you're going to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Do you need something from them? Yes. Do they know that you need something from them? Yes. But it will be a memorable thing if you can get that thing, all right? And it doesn't have to be expensive, it just has to be thought through. I just thought to share that, sorry.
Thank you. Please let's clap for him. And that's a fantastic one. I mean, it's a culture I try to do where a lot of the big people in this country, when I finally meet them one-on-one, do you know what they always tell me? Oh, you sent me a gift 2 years ago. Right? Because I have a culture of December, I just make a list and I send gifts. I don't know them. Just send. So the day we are meeting is a case of, wow, I remember, and I'm shocked because I have forgotten that he or she was on that list. Right? I see my very top pastor in Shiloh, and I will greet her and say, yeah, you sent me a gift, you know. I didn't even remember. After, oh, yes, I have. So thank you, we need to meet. We need to do some business. So let your gifts go ahead. Are we together now? When you hear that scripture that says, the gift of a man creates room, right? It's not talent, it's talking about them. is that people become softer towards you when you give a gift.
And I think the best way to even look at this is, as you are sitting down now, if Dr. Stephen gets up and squeezes $1,000 in your hand, or squeezes a massage voucher, whatever it is, and he does it to everyone in this room, maybe we're about 100 in this room, irrespective of whatever we say here, what will linger in your mind a year from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 years from now, is that gift, yes or yes? So never underestimate the power of giving, never overestimate yourself, all right? They will remember. It's a seed sown. If they tell some of us here that, oh, there's visa in America, green card, go and find 10 million naira. If you get the 10 million naira, you're guaranteed green card. People will raise 10 million naira.